Hello, and welcome to my first sketchbook tour. This sketchbook was started in 2016. I remember being really excited to start this sketchbook. I was in my first year of college studying graphic design, and it was also when I first discovered artists on YouTube, and I remember watching sketchbook tours and feeling very inspired by everything I was seeing on the internet and seeing all of these artists do wonderful things with their sketchbooks, and it just got me really motivated to go out and get my own sketchbook and create something that I haven't before. So I would say that this was my first sketchbook that I took more seriously and that I found more precious than my past ones. So let's start off with the specs of this sketchbook. It is a Strathmore 500 series on mixed media paper. The paper is super thick, super great. You can use watercolor gouache. I've used Copics in them, but they do bleed through to the back. And overall, I really love this sketchbook and highly recommend. So after we go ahead and open up the sketchbook here, we can see I started it in March 2016 to October 2016, which is actually really quick for me because I am known for spending almost over a year on sketchbooks or not filling them up at all. And then we can see I write good vibes, but you know, I'm dumb and didn't spell it right. Good vids, good vides. I'll just use the excuse I was focusing on the lettering. And then we have a gouache painting of my friend over here. So at the time of me creating the sketchbook, I really felt inspired by people that use their sketchbook as journals as well. So I went ahead and stuck in my tickets for the showing of Zootopia, because that movie changed my life and it was amazing, and did some illustrations of Nick and Judy and a little phrase from the movie. It's called A Hustle, Sweetheart. On this page we have some illustrations done in gouache of some flowers and a landscape of a pond that is outside of an art museum in my town. At the art museum they did an art in bloom where they take some of the paintings there and make bouquets to go along with the art. So when I was creating this page, I always find that I just draw famous people or references I find on Pinterest or Instagram. And I was like, I want to draw some people I actually know. I want to draw my friends. I want to draw my family. So these are just some of my friends. Here we have just a doodle page, which I have a lot of those in these sketchbooks. Justin Kim used as a reference on the side there. And then on the right, we can see me probably covering up a bad illustration that I did with just a bunch of ink. I was really into Jeffree Star at the time of this sketchbook, so here we have some doodles of him, probably from his Instagram, and then another illustration. It looks like Jeremy Scott. It was probably something he came out with at that time that I was just referencing from his Instagram as well. Here's just a quick little doodle I did for Junyun's birthday in 2016. And then a Copic illustration of a clothing brand called Team Cozy. Here we can see that Copic marker bleeding through to the other side, so I just taped in some illustrations I did from a different sketchbook that I liked. And then we have just some more random doodles on the right side. And then on this page, we just have a bunch of drawings of Scott and Mitch from Superfruit. I was obsessed with them during this time and still am, if I am being quite honest. Me being obsessed with Superfruit, I went and saw Pentatonics, and they did this thing where they would have a meet and greet beforehand and take photos with their fans, and I would pick photos of Mitch from each city he went to, and I would draw them because I loved his style. And then on the right side I just have a drawing of my friend. Pages like this are really disappointing and boring in a sketchbook, but I'm sure we all have them. Just not feeling inspired enough to finish the pages and not fill them up, and then putting a to-do list of stuff that I needed to pack for a trip. Here we have some illustrations done in brush pen, and I really liked these at the time. I felt like they would make good coloring pages, especially the one on the right with the 3 people. Those people are Bretman Rock and Barbie Guts on Instagram, and I'm not sure who the girl in the middle is, but I really liked it at the time, I remember. And this page is just a mess of who knows what. Probably just didn't know what to draw, so I was just like, I'm just gonna just go crazy and go ham on this 2 pages. I even kissed the corner up there, which is like, what, why? And then like Mountain Dew in the corner. This page is just, I'm sorry, I have no idea. And here we continue with the Jeffree Star craze. And then this image on the left is done in acrylic. I remember, like, why did I paint in acrylic in my sketchbook? I find that kind of strange. Here we have just some random people I found referenced from Instagram or Pinterest. And then I actually have an OOTD of myself up there in the right hand corner. Here we have a painting of Kim Kabum Key from Shiny. This was a photo he posted on his Instagram, and I remember using that as a reference. It looks like maybe watercolor or gouache. I think it's gouache with brush pen over the top. You can see that for some reason during this time, I never drew faces on anybody. If you look through any of these illustrations through this whole book, I won't have faces on anybody. I would pretend like that was my thing. That was like my illustration choice, but I think it's just because I didn't know how to draw faces and I was scared of them. Here we have some thumbnails or just creative designing for t-shirt designs. Here we have some drawings of some people again. I really like to draw fashion illustrations and people wearing fun fashion. And here you can see again with the no faces, I only put eyebrows, nothing else. I remember drawing these waiting in the terminal for a plane and just going through my Instagram and drawing like a bunch of key. And then the girl in the overalls is Zoella. And then we have Jong down in the corner. This page is a whole lot of mess. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I drew this on the plane, and you can see my inking tool decided to burst on me, and then it probably just made me frustrated and I just did random stuff. Here we have some quick doodles I did of some people in the airport, and then a brush pen and watercolor of Shiny, and of course they don't have faces. This is probably my favorite spread in the sketchbook. It is just a bunch of illustrations done from reference of John Yun at the airport. And I wrote where he was going or where he was coming from and the date of each one. Some of them actually to Los Angeles and to Dallas, the ones where I saw them live. And I just remember really liking this. And then I remember I would always just do illustrations of outfits with brush pen, and I really need to get back into that because I remember enjoying it so much. Here we have up at the top is my friend, and I used her photo for a reference for that, and then just another illustration with brush pen from Instagram. And then over on the right we have another Jeffree Star and his boyfriend Nathan. I remember looking through my sketchbook and I saw a little thumbnail doodle I did of this photo, and I decided to redo it because I liked it so much, because I liked the smoke, but I didn't like how it ended up turning out larger. I apologize for the sun shining in and casting that horrible shadow across the book, but natural lighting, what are you gonna do? And here we have a drawing I did of my friend. It was her birthday, so I was like, I'm gonna draw her. I really liked doing really tiny details with the micron pen, getting like the smallest tip I could find, like the 005, and then just going over it with watercolor. And then we have just some random doodles of like Halsey and Key and some random girls from Instagram probably. Wow, look, we have a face. And it is Mitch Grossi when he was bald and serving fabulous looks in the, what was it, the perfume music video they did. And then we have on the right just some, I believe these are Justin Kim again, the model. Here we have a whole spread dedicated to John Yun, which I would do a lot, still do. And then on the other side, I remember I was going to do a spread of Key, but I got too lazy and just ended up not even filling in the page at all, basically. Here I can see was my first attempt at a gouache background down there in the left corner, but I mean, I don't think it's very successful. And we have a Lamborghini with a little John Yun head sticker saying "Wanna Ride?" And then on the left we have a portrait of Minho with like weird looking flowers and leaves that don't really even look like leaves surrounding him. I can't tell what this is done with. It's probably gouache. Here we have another faceless photo illustration of Shiny, and that is definitely spelt wrong in Korean up at the top. I apologize. And again, really wanting to go back to brush pen. Wow, I really like that. And then we have more faceless images of people. This is a little illustration I did for Key's birthday in 2016. Basically just went through his Instagram and picked out outfits that I liked of his and lined them all up. This again, brush pen and watercolor. Random references of Shiny. As you can tell, Shiny is my favorite band. They have been for a long time, and I find I get a lot of inspiration from them. They inspire me a lot, so I always find myself when I don't know what to draw, I'll just find photos of them and draw them, and that's always been my go-to for like the last 8 years or something. This was when Shiny had the comeback 1 of 1, so you know I had to use that as a reference to draw, of course. So that's what's on the left side, and then on the right side is Key, and though that's him dancing to Feel Good, if I'm not mistaken. This is another one of my favorite spreads. I don't know why. I believe it is because of the drawing down on the left page of the dad holding his son, which is actually Key and his dad, that he uploaded to Instagram. And I think I just like the colors and the way it turned out. And then I have just some other drawings of Shiny, obviously. Here we have some side profiles of Key and then John Yun down at the bottom. And then some watercolors of Jinky. And I just used the graphite underneath. I guess I resisted the urge to ink them, which I think is kind of cool because it's very rare for me to do that. And here we are ending it on a bang with a faceless picture of Onu. And then I ended it with no bad vibes. Wow, I'm so cool. And I spelt vibes right this time. Wow. Good for me. But there we have it, guys. That is the end of my first sketchbook tour. That is really exciting to finish because I've always thought about doing a sketchbook tour, and I'm glad that I finally did. I have a lot of other sketchbooks that I could do sketchbook tours for in the future if you want to see that. And I'm currently almost done with my current one. I'm actually working on 2 right now, and I'm really trying to push myself to finish them and not leave half of them blank and buy new ones, because I'm one of those artists that get really excited just to buy a new sketchbook and never use it. So, but anyway, thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!